This video will be about how I've developed my print media skills from my preliminary task to my finished product. The preliminary task was to create a front cover and a contents page of a student's magazine. From scratch, I had to take all the photos by myself of my fellow students to use as models, and it was to practice what we were going to do professionally. So for this preliminary task I used unprofessional photos. I had no inspiration from other magazines. I had no research into types of magazines and specific layouts, and I didn't have any skills with editing programs such as Photoshop and Publisher. However, the use of professional hardware ensured me to take the best photos I possibly could for my magazine, for my finished media product. When I took the photos for my preliminary task, I used a very simple digital camera with no sort of professional lighting, just natural lighting outdoors when I took some photos outside and fluorescent lighting inside the college corridors. But for my real and professional photo shoot, I used a Canon 5D together with a 3-point lighting setup, plain black and a plain white backdrop. This made sure that the pictures are of excellent high definition quality. I experimented with different angles such as low and high angles to create shadows on the faces of my models. It gave my photos exactly the professional and sophisticated quality I'd been aiming for. I could also ask my models to do whatever I wanted them to do, striking different poses with different objects without having to worry about the background or lighting and if it might affect the photo. My development of software skills. For my preliminary task, I didn't edit the photos in any particular way. The only step of editing was to crop the images so they fit on the page in Publisher. However, for my professional photos, it was necessary to edit the photos using Photoshop. I had previously not had any experience with this software, so creating my media product with this program was a learning process. One of the editing processes was to refine the complexion of the skin tone of my models to give their faces an airbrushed look, using the blemish tool on Photoshop, for erasing spots, for example. The second piece of major software that I used for the presentation of my media product is the program WordPress.com, which is a website for creating blogs. For my coursework, I had to make a blog to record everything that was involved with the pre-production, the production and the evaluation of my media product. Next, the layout and design. The layout that I used to make my preliminary task was extremely unprofessional. I didn't put much thought into it since I hadn't done any research into different types of magazines' layouts. However, in my proper media product, I had performed thorough research into what kind of layout and design my magazine should have. To make my magazine interesting and eye-catching, the front cover had to include a large image and a large masthead. This is similar to the Q and the Vogue front cover, since these magazines are very popular with many different types of audiences. Therefore, using this style will make readers recognize this layout and be intrigued what this magazine is and what will it bring. The content. Maintaining the attention that the front cover has secured within the reader throughout the magazine and into the following issues is something difficult. To do this, you cannot just focus on one artist throughout the whole media product, but other well-known artists have to be mentioned in sub-articles. The main artist that I looked at for my model is Cal Plant, together with an advertised interview with the Arctic Monkeys. Another article to be included in my magazine are on musical fashion and how music could help you motivate yourself to improve your health. So there has to be a lot under the surface of the front cover for the reader to stay interested in wanting to know what will be in the next issue. Comparing this to my preliminary task, the contents that I suggested that would be in the student magazine I designed were, in my opinion, too vague and unnecessary. I think that the contents were just too random as well, some of which didn't necessarily have anything to do with secondary education.